emptiness is often the term used for wuji. And in the West, again, or in English, emptiness often has a negative connotation. It sort of suggests a deficiency or a lack. Empty fuel tank, empty bank account. And emptiness, though, in Daoist philosophy and in Qigong and in Buddhism as well, is actually the space of potential. And it's a space of, like you were saying, a cup, right? That it's the cup that holds the tea. Right? And without, if the cup were full, then no tea could go in. And so we need that emptiness of the cup to fill. Similarly with a room, if you walk into a room and it's crammed full of furniture and things and there's no space, then it's not as enjoyable. It's like you have to have a space in the room to actually go in and kind of use it and feel like there's a purpose for it. So if we think about that kind of spaciousness, it changes our ideas about what's possible. It also separates us out a little bit from, or distances us rather from this idea that we need to assert our authority or a sense that we're right or we're wrong, like an opinion on things. Because in the moment we try to do that, it kind of closes the parameters down and we get much less room to explore and to feel. But I remember in one of the Daoist precepts back in the Han Dynasty, one of their vows that a Daoist had to take was to never try to prove yourself right.
I love that.
Isn't it wonderful? It's like, wow, that is the antithesis of most radio talk shows. So, yeah, and this sense of spaciousness that comes with kind of a heart that has a little more room to meet things. It follows on from a naturalism, but this also sense that to create the right space for us, or to create a healthy growing space for us, like you were saying, to surround yourself with people who really support and understand and encourage the development that you're aligned with. It's important. The Buddha talked about this, the importance of Sangha and spiritual community that is in line with what you're looking to do. So yeah, it's a beautiful concept. I think that it's a simple one as well, but it's a virtue that you can cultivate simply by starting to pay attention to when your heart doesn't feel spacious. If you start to feel like you're closing in and contracting around something, really challenge that. Like, get a little inquisitive and curious. I remember this is one example that wasn't in the book, but I remember once one of my main yoga teachers, she had a horse riding accident and she was supposed to teach some retreats in Iceland. I was on my 10-year honeymoon and she was calling me and emailing me, messaging me, and she basically wanted to know if I could step in and teach the retreats for her if she needed them, if she couldn't do it or she couldn't find anyone, would I do it? And at first I was like, oh no, first of all, am I prepared to do that? And then I had all these things planned for that time and everything would have to change, but she's my teacher, right? And so I was like, let me think about it for a day. And when I started to think, oh, I can't do this, it was this closing in and a contraction. And I actually asked, I said, what would my father advise me to do? He was a very ethical but well-rounded thinker about things. And he would say, be generous. And that's a quality of spaciousness, be generous. And as soon as I said, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do that for her, I felt this openness to my heart and this real gratitude for being able to help someone who was really seeking out some assistance and some emergency interventions. And in the end, she found we came up with someone else for her to have teach it, but it felt so good for me to kind of feel that spaciousness. Yeah. And then I think it leads to this sense of when the heart feels less constricted, it leads to this quality of equanimity. And it doesn't mean that you don't care to be equanimous. It actually means you care a lot. Right? And that you care so much that you're able to meet all experience from a heart that's very free and very loving, and that isn't reactive but calm and able to kind of meet whatever's unfolding from that calmer, kinder place of decision making.